Gary, two new strikers this week. Obviously, a good time to be bringing in reinforcements.
Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously, Gozzy's been here before in our previous First Division campaign. He was only a young lad then, and Reading at that time didn't want to lose him, and he was just on loan, getting experience. But he's now gained that little bit of experience that everyone was after him getting. He got released in the end at Reading and ended up going a couple of places, then going to Scotland, and he scored goals up there. So he's a strong lad, and at the moment, because he wasn't alone, it was interesting for us because it's a signing till the end of the season, so it means it doesn't take up one of our loans. So that was a good sort of thing to do. And then Jamal Loza, we've been sort of chasing for a little while, and he gives you that striker who needs the experience now. He had a good spell at Southend when he went there, and now they feel he's ready for the next level up. So we're more than happy to give him that opportunity.
Yeah, and with Gozy, are you confident then you're getting a better player than what was here in his first time at Yeovil?
Yeah, I think so. It's certainly more experience because he's played a lot more games. He's older and wiser, and it doesn't mean to say that their ability's any better as such, but certainly when they become more experienced, they get into more danger areas. They're just more comfortable in themselves when they're a little bit older. And he was injured, I think, on the second spell that we had pretty early in the loan, so we didn't really see much of him. I can't remember what it was, a hamstring, I think. But in his first spell, he looked decent, and he's a great lad, and he's a strong boy as well, and that'll help us get on the end of things when balls come in the penalty area.
Yeah, and Jamal, does he bring something different perhaps to the squad?
Yeah, he does. He's more of a runner. He's got good athleticism, and he does get in there late and fast, so he can cause a problem. He can have that intensity in the goal area where he's happy to go past someone, take someone on 1v1 in the danger areas, and really that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, and obviously a good time, isn't it, be coming in? They both obviously go into the squad, you'd imagine, for this weekend.
Yeah, they'll both be in the squad. We haven't picked the team yet, but we've had a couple of training sessions where we're seeing how they fit into the pattern and the shape that we want to play against Bradford, and once we've worked that out, then they'll know whether they're in or not.
Yeah, it's a tough game, Bradford, isn't it? But I guess you're glad at least to be back at Hewish Park. First game here, of course, since the Manchester United game.
Yeah, it's been a little while. We enjoyed that day, and then we had the unfortunate game up at Barnsley. I say unfortunate, but part of it was self-inflicted with our centre half getting sent off, which we were disappointed with, and he knows that now. And the other one was that we still believe that the penalty wasn't a penalty, and but with 10 men, as Millwall showed against Bradford, any teams can win games when they're 11 versus 10, of course. And Bradford are on a very, very good run at the minute. They've got themselves up into the top 3 or 4 of the First Division. But that was one of our good games against them, and we know their style, we know their game, and we've got to combat that and try and get some opportunities. We've got to be that constant threat now from here on in, from now to the end of the season, in as far as our attacking prowess is concerned.
So you've had your big FA Cup game, they've got theirs to come, haven't they, in terms of Chelsea? You're hoping perhaps that might be a distraction for them?
Well, you can hope lots of things. You hope they get caught in the traffic coming down, and you hope that the food at their hotel gives them a bad stomach ache. But no, you wouldn't wish that on anybody. But no, of course, any advantage that you may gain through something like that. But I'm sure they're more than professional to not let that affect them giving it a go for the championship. They're up there, and they're up there because they are a professional setup. They get the big gate, so they can every now and again put in a big player and for them, and they've got a good squad, and that squad has got them where it is today. So we've got to not worry about any peripheral stuff. We've got to do the job, and when it's an hour and a half out there, then that's when you prove whether you're ready or not for them, or they're ready or not for us.
Yeah, they've got a lot of experience as well, and they look at players like John Stead who've been there and done it, of course.
Yeah.
So, and that's another factor they've got in their locker, I suppose.
Yeah, well, they've probably got one of the best target men around in Hansen, and John Stead's sort of revitalised his career again over the last sort of few months with Bradford. So we know what they got, and we know what they can be. They're definitely very competitive. It's a competitive group of people that are running Bradford and that are playing for Bradford, and we've got to be ready for that.
Yeah, and you're hoping, of course, that there'll be a good gate here. Some of those Manchester United crowd hopefully will be here again on the weekend.
Well, that'd be nice. We'd get 9,000 then, wouldn't we? Don't hold your breath for 9,000, but we got to do our job. The club done its job against Man United and looked after everybody, and it's done its job again in allowing me to bring in 2 or 3 players. We are very short in numbers, and we've got a lot of games coming up in a short space of time. So it'd be great if we get that positive support, as I always say, around the ground for the lads, because in the position we're in, they're going to need our fans behind them, certainly, and then if the fans are not happy at the end of the game, they can let us know, but during the game I'm sure they'll give them good support, whoever's here.
Yeah, you've been in daily conversations with the chairman here. Is there anything you can tell us about the meetings, what's been spoken about, or is that all private stuff?
Well, it's private, of course, but I mean it's all business, and the chairman's always very, very supportive of what we need to do, but everything you need to do has got to come within the rules of the fair play stuff, which is becoming a bit of a noose round our necks, but everybody's trying hard to work out what we can and can't do, and there'll be a lot of clubs fall foul of it very soon, and we've got to make sure that we don't, because you definitely don't want an embargo or a big fine or something. So we work out what we need to do under the circumstances, and that therein lies the conversation.
Good luck, Gary. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
I know that you said last week, and after the Barnsley game, you're looking to get a defender. I think you said the same in the week as well. Is that still a hope to bring in a central defender before the weekend?
It's a hope, but getting later, of course. So the hopes get less. I shouldn't be laughing, but we're trying very hard, and we've had a long list of people that we've approached, and clubs that we've approached, but the circumstances up till now have not been right for some of them, and on occasions for us. So as we speak, there's nothing happening, to be honest with you, but that doesn't mean to say that we don't do something later on today.
I know that obviously Nathan Smith went to centre half last week at Barnsley. He did the job at Peterborough a few years ago. He's got the physique, hasn't he? He's got the size and the width, I suppose, and
yeah.
he's mobile as well.
Yeah, he's certainly an option if we don't bring anybody in. But at the moment he's doing all right at left-sided left back. So we don't really want to move him if we can help it, but it might be something we have to look at.
Okay. Moving slightly aside, one of your former players who's now working in the accounts department here, Nicky Crittenden, is caretaker boss at Dorchester for the foreseeable immediate future.
Oh, good on him.
Could you ever see him? Was he the sort of character that you thought would have turned his hand to coaching?
Well, I think so. Yeah. I mean, now he's a bit older. I mean, obviously when he was younger and playing, these players don't have any thoughts about doing those sort of things. But no, I'm sure he knows the game, Crit. As a player, he was a football minded player. You didn't have to teach him the game. He knew the game, and that's the first thing you've got to have to get in any authority in football, is that you've got to be seen to be knowing the game. And from my point of view, he did, and I enjoyed working with him then. I bump into him now in the offices every now and again down the bottom. We've asked him to train a couple of times when we needed an extra player, but he's always politely said no. So he's obviously getting his head around management now as opposed to playing.
Thank you.
He always seemed to be a player that he just liked playing football, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a very good player at the levels that we were playing at, and had a decent career, and you knew what you were going to get from him week in, week out. You know, he was going to have that energy and have that little bit of quality, and no, he was good to work with. Cricks, and deserved all the success that he got.
Yeah. Anyway, going back to today's news about obviously 2 strikers coming in. Hopefully that should add some impetus or a bit of spark.
Yeah, that's really what you're trying to achieve. Sometimes when you bring 2, 3, 4 players in, it just changes everybody's thoughts, creates a little bit more competition, gives gives the players something else to think about, because they're finding different players, different runs, different strengths, different weaknesses. So the next 2 days are important to blood these people in, and I'm sure with those 2 players have shown already that that they can add something to the squad. We're not forgetting about other people that are here. We just need more numbers, because we're flogging the same people at the moment because we haven't got a big enough squad. And now all of a sudden we start getting the Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday games. Now you need a bigger squad, because it's very difficult to play at this level 3 games in a week for in a short space of time. We got 20 odd games in less months as we did in the first few months, if you understand that. So our squad needs to be bigger and more competitive.
Do you think the fact that Bradford played Millwall yesterday, and then as Dan said, they've got Chelsea on their minds, is that going to be a distinct advantage as well, do you think?
Well, it's what we were saying earlier, wasn't it? Let's hope so. But it could make them relax. They know they've got a great game coming up. I don't know. All we can say is, we hope it does. Whether it does, we won't know until 5 o'clock on Saturday.
At this stage of the season, and obviously where Yeovil are, and you're looking at players, are you looking more for players who can, how can I explain, produce a bit of magic in a second and turn a game? Or are you looking for those players who can just dig in and grind out results? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. The players that can win games on their own through a bit of brilliance or something normally costs you a bit of money, because everybody knows they've got that little bit of brilliance. So if you don't have that, then you've got to have a working man's team that has got that little bit about them that can score goals. Now, we haven't been able to do that at the moment, and that's been the disappointing part. Well, I think we've created opportunities, many opportunities, and we're on many of our videos. We didn't create enough at Barnsley, but we still had the first chance when AJ went through and just slid it past the post. We keep saying week in, week out, that's the one that we need to go in to give the lads the confidence to stay in the game and get that second goal. So at the moment there's a bit of a confidence crisis in that side of it. So that's why we needed to freshen it up a little bit and have a different problem up there, if you like. But if you could find that Dennis Bergkamp for a smallish salary, then we'd go and get him.
Well, obviously goals here have been hard to come by this season.
Yeah.
Obviously a couple of goals on Saturday and a huge lift, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's unbelievable, because we train in a way that we say to them, we need that intent to score a goal, that intent to get at somebody in the penalty area, the intent to put a cross in and arrive late and fast and score a diving header, or all my teams have been able to have runs of attacks. For some reason, it's not happened for this group at this moment in time. You know, where you have 3 or 4 attacks and 1 or 2 chances, and then you got to defend. We attack, it gets cleared, team will break on us, and it takes us a little while again to get back to have that next attack and then have to defend. We got to create that the runs of attacks that make it exciting, that make it, you know, the supporters believe that you're trying to score, and that's the key, and that's how we've got to go through the rest of the season, by putting teams under pressure.